Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the H Cup presented by BTS. We're going to be taking a look at an absolutely fabulous series today. It's going to be Invictus Gaming facing off against VG.R, also known as VG.Reborn. I'm Lyrical Dota, joined today by Danelie Cass. Danny, how are you doing? You excited for this series? We saw something similar yesterday.
I don't know if too many people have hopes here for IG, as VG Gaming, you could say they're essentially the kryptonite to IG, right? But there's been no opportunity for IG to really take a game off of VG aside from that one shot that they almost had. But almost isn't good enough.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. As in case you guys didn't know, yesterday these two teams played each other in two consecutive best of threes, and IG lost both of them 2-0. It was just a really impressive display by VG.Reborn, and it really solidified their place as one of the top contending teams in the Chinese scene right now. And I'm curious to see what they end up doing in this next draft. Already things are a little bit different. We did see the Beastmaster banned out, as well as that Enchantress, Bounty Hunter, and the Earth Spirit that led us to that first pick, Nature's Prophet, followed up by the Sven, Witch Doctor, and then finally the IO. So taking that BKB Piercing Ultimate right offline at the start to make sure that they're able to take the Sven, and then following that up with some strong laning potential with the Witch Doctor. But the IO pick, something that's a little bit, we haven't seen a ton of it. Do you think this is a function, what do you think this is a function of, the IO not getting picked as often, and in this game taking it?
So I obviously, you can pair him up with another hero and you essentially just give them that enormous boost. So it sort of gives VG Gaming a opportunity to decide if they want to go for the Wisp +1 mid, or if it's going to be maybe a Wisp +1 safe lane or off lane. All of those options are viable just because you have the extra regen from Wisp. My main concern here though is that you picked it up super early, and Chinese teams, like, yes, they don't play Wisp that much themselves. But they do have a lot of ways in dealing with that. Like, the way that Chinese teams play, it's like they don't pick Wisp because a lot of the times the way they play, it just makes Wisp sort of a redundant hero. As we saw, I forgot who actually ran the Wisp, but it was a Wisp up against the Faceless Void, and unfortunately the Wisp just couldn't get anything accomplished just because the Wisp would consistently either try and go for a relocate save, but then walked into a Chronosphere. So in that case, like, that was definitely not a Wisp game, and I'm pretty sure IG, they've got an idea as to how they're going to deal with it, but it's still a global strat for VG Gaming, but it's still going up against a Sven. Like, it's very hard to gank Sven and Witch Doctor even though you have a Wisp. So I don't know about VG Gaming picking up the Wisp. I suppose it's the first game, they can sort of do whatever they want, but they've left a lot of heroes in the pool for IG.
I will say one thing that's kind of interesting is Invoker was a really focal point hero for both of these two teams previously, and they left it in the pool. VG.Reborn, they could have taken it there with the Nature's Prophet, and it's a very classic combo that we've seen together in the laning stage, providing a ton of gank ability. And now IG are kind of faced with the idea, do they want to go for the Invoker themselves? And they're actually be taking Tiny out of the pool, so gonna opt to deny the combo as opposed to running the Invoker themselves. And I don't know about this. Like, Vici can still go for like a Bristleback or something. Do you think that they're going to be wanting that Invoker later, or do you think that Vici are going to take it here?
I reckon Invoker's definitely an important hero. I would, if neither of these teams pick up Invoker and it's not banned out at all, I would honestly be very surprised. Vici, they can go for a Bristleback, although it's not going to be a mech bristle just because you won't have the OD there with this aura. Unless they decide to go for something a little bit more off-stream, something a little bit different. Maybe we can go back and see a CK again.
Yeah,
I'm totally down to see a CK, although against a Sven and Tiny, it wouldn't be the best pickup here.
Yeah. Well, they're going to go for that FY Rubik, which obviously, you know, it's incredibly proficient on that hero. I'm also wondering now if this necessarily is devoted to a mid-tiny. We've seen a lot of off-lane tinies, particularly on that Dire side when you're able to get the pull over on that side lane, which can work out really, really effectively. So Invictus Gaming, despite the fact that they've already committed 2 probably cores, they still have a lot of flexibility within this draft as to where they want to run things, and they end up taking the Invoker for themselves. So, man, giving that over to Ferrari 430, that is a very bold mood. I'm wondering if they're going to pick like a PL now or something. I don't know. There's a lot of options I could go for.
You could pick up the PL, but you have to remember you're going to be going up against a Sven and a Tiny. Two heroes with absurd amounts of clear, as well as the cleave built into the Sven. I'm not too sure about the Tiny. Last time we saw an offlane Tiny, he didn't build Ags. He built purely utility items, so I don't know if you want to really count the Tiny in, as he is running the offlane role. So we'll assume he does pick up the Ags, and there'll just be some extra cleave. But what's left outside of the PL, which is one of the more standard heroes to pair up with the Wisp? They'll pick up the Lone Druid.
Invictus
This is interesting. I wonder if they're going to go like just full-on push mode. To me, what this looks like is the IO target is going to be, with the relocate at least, the Lone Druid maybe, and just instead of playing him in like the ganking role, maybe you play him in the trying to buff up the bear role and giving him that overcharge to be able to just go ham on the towers. That seems to be maybe the thing that they're looking for. Although they do have still, regardless, like incredible amount of gank potential. You bring in the Nature's Prophet and the IO relocate. When that IO hits 6, there's going to be some serious problems.
So Gyrocopter ban for IG, they are presuming it is going to be a safe lane for VG Gaming. Or it could have been I suppose it could have been a Gyrocopter Wisp in the mid lane too.
Yeah. I think Lone Druid mid can do okay against Invoker. I remember talking with Durka about it, and he was saying that like at a certain point in time, Lone Druid becomes like terrifying to Invoker, and it's just getting him to that stage. So I wonder if if they're planning on running that mid. At least IG do think that they are. And this is kind of interesting, because then what's left over? Like, do you think Jug at this point for VG.R? Or I guess we're on IG right now, but
I'm actually thinking IG. They've only got one support, and one hero in particular hasn't been banned out, which is the Chen.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a pretty attractive pickup here for IG if they really want to. They've got the Witch Doctor already. If you add the Chen on top of that, you are going to add a lot of extra push to IG. And then you're also going to be getting the Hand of God, which could potentially save someone from a relocate gank.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. And I think that, like, again, that sort of countering the global presences with global presence themselves. I swear I can talk. I promise. I like the ban of the Winter Wyvern also, though. It would have been a pretty strong hero there to put in combination against the IO, because obviously those relocate ganks just completely eviscerate an IO rather quickly. So it also is a nice counter to the push. And I guess that's the question, is would a Chen draft give you enough counter push if that's what VGR are going to be going for? Do you think it might be a CK eventually as well? I don't know. I would love to see it, but I'm not sure if that's what they'd want to go for.
The last time I saw a CK draft is... Oh, wait. So who's the support for IG
it's
now?
It's a support Tiny.
Or a support Sven.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's the other way they could go with it.
Yeah. Well, I've seen support Sven before. It's not a bad thing. Like, you look at Sven in terms of what utility he brings to the table, and he is a reasonable support. It's just he won't really start scaling up until the 30 to 40 minute mark when Sven actually has things.
I wonder if you just go like Iron Talon on one of those heroes and play it super greedy. The problem that I see with this is, like, this is a lineup from VGR that could probably punish it really, really rapidly. First of all, you've got 3 green heroes. That in and of itself is just awesome. But also
the blue-green strat.
Exactly. But also you've got the potential here with like Lone Druid doing a ton of damage to towers, Nature's Prophet obviously, and everything that he brings to the table. I mean, this is a draft where you could potentially even see like VG Gaming. Oh, there it is. We did it. Nicely done.
Yes, I did it. I'm so excited. It's been a long time since I've seen a CK, and I think the last time it was ran, it was a minus armor strat that they decided to run the CK, just because, you know, the change with the CK crit now, you actually minus armor every time you throw a crit. But there's no minus armor with this, but it's still CK Wisp. Super excited. VG Gaming, please make my dreams come true.
Yeah. Well, and this is going to be the question for me, is like, even though you do have essentially what can turn into 4 cores for IG, and it does look like it's going to be the offlane Tiny with the support Sven, is that right? So QD is playing Spec and XS was their offlaner, if I remember it correctly, for IG. So yeah, interesting, the support Sven. I still feel like this lineup for VG Gaming can go late game. Like, they've got a ton of rat potential here.
Not just rat, but they've got a lot of scaling heroes. In essence, you can farm up the Sven, Tiny. Oh god, my screen froze for a little bit. The Sven, Tiny, as well as the Spectre and Invoker. All 4 of those heroes scale well with farm. Obviously, Witch Doctor, the one left out, but you're going up against what could be a quad core if you bring it super late.
Yeah. Well, this will be interesting to see how a lot of these builds do go. Oh my god, Sven has an Orb of Venom. What is even happening in this game? I've got
This
no
is Bobica,
idea.
though.
Oh.
Hey, Bobica can make some plays.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think he can too. It's a very unique. I haven't seen like because what I'm assuming then is that this is going to be like a roaming support Sven, essentially. Maybe it could go for something else, but regardless, we'll do a quick little introduction of the players. For VG.R, FY is going to be playing his IO. We do have End on that CK over here towards the mid lane. No is going to be playing on the Lone Druid. It's also going to be DDC on the Rubik, and last but not least, Yang is going to be playing the Nature's Prophet. Would you care to introduce those fine folks up there in the northeast side of the map?
Okay, so on the side of IG, we have QD on the Spectre in the top lane. In the mid lane, we've got Ferrari 430 on his signature hero, the Invoker. We've got Rong handling our Witch Doctor for today, Bobica on the Sven, and finally, in the off lane, it's going to be XXS on the off lane Tiny.
Wonderful, and he is looking happy as a clam right now. So they're getting ready to place on down a couple of wards and get themselves a rune. And it does look like they're going to contest it for a second. Cutie here actually able to come on in and snag the rune. Might pay for it. Is slowed down by the wisp, but not quite going to be able to find the kill, unfortunately. It's only like a 1 second stun there for End. So nice little snag and grab, and Spectre heads off towards the top lane.
So it's the sort of head start that IG would be looking for, getting both bounty runes, one on the carry as well as the Invoker. And you also deny it to the Lone Druid too, so no. As you're talking about the Lone Druid, how at some point he will be a huge threat to Ferrari, but if you're IG, you shouldn't really let the Lone Druid get away with this. I would expect either Bobica or Rong to at least go in for a rotation.
Ooh.
Rong would be ideal. Oh god. What?
Quick kill.
Wow.
Well, IOCK able to get the stun and find themselves a nice little kill there. Very well played to be able to get that one. And now QD's going to have to come back in the lane. Despite his early start, he actually didn't have a salve anyways, so this is a tough lane here.
You mean the salve on QD? He used it earlier.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, in some ways, like, I don't know, this is the thing that I wonder about here is with all of this burst damage that you've got, like, how are you going to be able to stand up to this? They were able to get the side pull as well, so, man, this is a struggle. And worth noting that over here in the mid lane, Lone Druid is doing fine too. He still has a resummon for this bear, so it can take a lot of harassment from Ferrari.
This is really smart laning for VGR. They've put 3 heroes in the top lane to put a lot of pressure on the Spectre, because we all know that Spectre's a very weak laner, and that forces both Bobica as well as Rong to stay up here to babysit, which means that the chances of No getting ganked are going to be heavily reduced, which for VGR, this is their ideal lanes. They don't want the Lone Druid to be pressured at all, and down bottom, Nature's Prophet can TP out whenever, so Yang's going to be pretty happy. He can honestly come in for a TP up top if they find a kill.
Sven, or Tiny actually, he was trying to get the pull off on the camp, but he accidentally ended up taking too much damage on the Satyr, and it died on its way over there. So didn't get the pull off, did manage to pull it back in the creep wave a little bit closer to his positioning, but unfortunately they didn't get the completed pull. And again, you're looking at the difference. That's the problem, is that while Tiny can make that pull happen if he was able to clear off all the creep waves, otherwise Nature's Prophet is having a fabulous time down here. 12-3 versus the 1-0, so a really tough lane, and across the board it's actually going really well for VGR.
Exactly. It's just because they've managed to do these lanes so well. Like this top lane is so scary for the Spectre. QD can come in for a couple of CS. They're going to go for a bit of a jump. The stun onto Rong. He is so low, and there's the lift up, and Rong looks like he might be able to walk out. They're going to kill onto FY instead. And now End as well as DDC, they are going to be chasing down Rong, but he's got the heals. They're not going to quite chase him down. And all of a sudden, you've got End all by himself.
Yeah.
He's just going to have to walk out of there with nothing.
Yeah, that's the scary part, is like you've got a couple of very weak laning heroes here on IG, but Wisp is still sort of like the predominant one for being a weak laning here. He's got a lot of regen. They're actually going to go on to QD again, do have another lift, going to bring him on back, a couple more pops in the face, and the balls are there as well, trying to bring him low. He's still going to get the extra armor though from the Sven, and because of that, QD just walks out again. And this supports Sven really working out, and now they got the Witch Doctor bounces as well. Nobody ends up going down, and VGR just going to have to use a bunch of regen.
But it does give the lane to VGR technically,
no,
just because
true.
they've assumed so much control up here that IG, they may have to play a little bit more passively on QD and possibly try and get some wins elsewhere, because they are definitely not winning that top lane. Unless for some reason VG.R makes mistakes, but we all know VG. They've been playing pretty well lately, so wouldn't really be expecting those.
Oh.
Nono's just having a heyday.
I thought that Witch Doctor was dying up in the top lane, but he was just denying himself to some creeps, so all good and well. Yeah, I think that, like you're talking about, this lane, it's really the big X factor, and also down bottom. Like, you look at this, already Yang is level 5. You compare this to the Tiny, who's still stuck at level 3, and they've been able to apply this much harassment onto the Spectre without rotating in the Nature's Prophet. Pretty soon, this tower is just going to go down, and like, it doesn't...
They're rotating Cutie.
Oh, interesting.
They're going to put Cutie down here instead. Well, at least he gets a safer laning phase down here. It's up against the Nature's Prophet. Like, there could be Treants, but at least it's not a CK Wisp and Rubik.
Yeah, I mean, the dispersion helps a little bit, but I feel like they can maybe just rotate again. Maybe
they're going to kill him.
It.
They're going to kill him. They've got excess as well as wrong, trying to go for a jump onto the Nature's Prophet.
Well, there's the TP away, and they jump instead onto Ferrari in mid lane. Not going to be able to catch him out, but I still think, I mean, dodging the gank there, unbeknownst to him, death was coming towards him, and he manages to just walk away from that one, so...
Oh, they might run into him anyway. Wrong. They see him. They actually just catch up with Tiny.
He is actually taking a ton of damage.
Wisp balls? Oh, not far enough.
They managed to find him. Wrath of Nature. Really well played there. And Excess is going to end up getting sprouted up. And this chase is just going to continue. They have the Cold Snap there onto FY, but Ferrari 430 is now also getting in trouble. They do have another Sprout in 1 second. If they can manage to hit it, the extra movement speed from Tiny is going to be there. And they're diving the tier 2s. They still kill off Ferrari. Oh, wow.
That was such a huge disaster for IG. They just wanted to walk away from their failed gank, but instead they end up being ganked by, of all things, a Wisp Nature's Prophet duo. You wouldn't expect to be just completely walked over by those two heroes, but geez, they're doing so much work.
Yeah. And you look at this Nature's Prophet now, he's so freaking huge. 3,300 net worth at this stage in the game. I mean, already at this early, it's absolutely absurd. And like, the Spectre is the highest net worth hero in the game, and she's been practically shut down. I feel like they really need to get those levels up and just try and make something happen with level 6 on Spec.
The unfortunate thing is that Spectre's not like a lot of other carries where you can just stack for her and she'll come back. She just doesn't farm it efficiently, so... What does IG actually do to make space? It may feel like they're just going to have to go for these consistent aggressive plays. The sad thing is XS is level 3 on that offlane Tiny. He's just considering to roam now because he knows he's not getting that much in lane. Although I don't really see him getting that much up top either, because that CK, he is level 5. He's almost level 6. He won't get a Phantasm at level 6, but hey, he hits hard.
Yeah, he does, and you know, already with the treads online, has his magic wand that's going to be coming out too. It's so hard to really make anything happen here, and QD is going to get jumped on again. Has to commit the blade away, but it does look like FY is going to get jumped on. They find one kill at least. Looking for more. Yang is going to be here, but I don't think they can find him. So a little bright spot there for a moment for IG.
Just one little bright spot. They need more than that though. It's a simple wisp kill, like top and mid are completely uncontested for VG. I suppose Ferrari's mid lane, but look at Nono. This guy has a load of farm. He's getting so close to his Hand of Midas, and if at this rate, if IG doesn't touch Nono, he's going to get the Radiant so early that I'm not too sure if IG is going to be prepared for it, because unfortunately they're not running a kind of draft that gets an early mech to mitigate that damage.
By the way, FY down here is zoning out the Spectre as the solo IO. So that tells you a little bit about how this game is going, as CK gets the kill on the tower up top. Like, they are going to try and rotate in towards the mid lane now and see if they can find No. This could be a big one if they can get it.
Do you think they can though? I'm not too sure if they have the heroes for it. They've got Tiny Sven.
Oh, Courier Snipe, Yang looking for it. It doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to get there, though. And there's actually Haunt committed for this. They need to find this kill, and Yang does look like he might end up going down. This would be absolutely huge if he was able to get it. Gets the Cell Sprout, but the Tornado should kill him. That's a pretty big one.
It's a very nice kill. Rather unfortunate that the Nature's Prophet didn't get the Courier and got out, but that's good news for IG. They need little kills like that. They need to make the most of these mistakes that VG.R are making. Like one kill at a time. I think at this point it's the only way for IG to go. They just need to hang on to this game and make sure that they can still secure farm onto QD and make sure that Ferrari can make space for him. Heck, even XS needs to start making space, but I think for now he just wants level 6.
Yeah, absolutely. And as soon as he gets that, maybe he puts him in a better position. They're doing a 2-person smoke rotation in towards the bottom lane, and speaking of XS, he might be getting ganked very shortly. They do have vision on him. They end up being able to go for the reality orb. Slowed down now. Tether is there as well, and he is very rapidly just going to get exploded. Bracer treads is enough to find that kill, and now it looks like they might be thinking about the tower.
Oh, with the Phantasm, yeah, you're definitely wanting to push with this. You want to make the most of the CK illusion, so if you can push a tower with it, that's a lot of extra damage on the way of VG.R. Like, IG can't, they don't have any counter push if you look at their draft. Like, even Tiny doesn't want to go anywhere near the creep wave, so he can probably throw a toss, but he's never going to go for an avalanche. Sven doesn't want to come in range for a Stormhammer, but it looks like they want to contest at least. They popped the Warcry, but everyone's pretty much out of there for VG.R. Nothing for IG.
Oh, they're going to end up relocating up here top, going for QD again. Do they have the Sprout Vision? They need the Reality Rift, looking for the kill, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get him in time. They do manage to stun up Yang, and still looking for QD. Are going to be able to bring him back. Maybe. Can they get him in time? The Urn Charge is going to be there. They get the movement speed, and that's going to end up being a quick and easy kill here. QD goes down. Reality Rift was used. The other thing about that was that, like, Phantasm was used with an Arcane Rune, so it's already almost back up again. See. Wrong now.
Sorry, just give me a moment. My internet's stuttering.
No problem. All right. Well, we can keep the talk going. It does look like XX actually is going to end up getting jumped again. They do have a Sprout available if they want to use it. Trying to kill off DDC, but going to be able to keep him away for the moment. And that should be another kill. Spectre Haunt committed for this one. They end up being able to get the Urn Charge off on the DDC. He does die, and now they're turning over to Yang, going for the TP away. And it does look like he's going to be able to escape. So they only get one in return for the Tiny. Man, that is, again, a bit of a problem. Like, they keep on being able to put themselves in these positions to find the kills, and you're looking at the Chaos Knight now, building towards those drums, almost has it completed. They're pressuring bottom, but immediately going to transition and go for the mid tower now. With the Hand of Midas already up on No-No, this tower is going to fall so quickly.
Sorry, your internet kind of almost died. Oh, Jesus, in the mid lane. Stun on to end. Can they actually kill the CK? Pops the Phantasm, but EMP is going to pretty much show them which one's the real ones. That's going to be a kill going in the way of IG, and a very big one at that on the CK. And QD might want to get out of there. Looks like there's no one else to follow up, but the Bear's going to sort of push it along. Nice deny too for IG. So CK and a tower deny. Sorry, internet died.
Oh, no problem. We're all good to go. We're back and running. Is everything all good? Your house isn't exploding or anything?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Well, that's good. 1,000 gold swing off the back of that one, 7-5, but more importantly, about 6,000 gold lead currently for VG.R, and this is just off the back of really efficient farming, and FY is actually maybe going to get caught out here. He needs to be careful. XS Ferrari 430 and wrong all in the area, and that is going to be a dead FY, so a little bit outside of his breadth there.
But hey, it's just a wisp kill.
Yeah.
That means that they know where all these IG heroes are, and they're not really too worried about farming mid as well as bottom. The End is still farming down bottom. The CK is just getting so much farm. And I think the scariest thing is that you're giving the CK all this space in the world. Like, he's died a few times. He got a few kills on top of that. He is going to be an absolute monstrosity, especially once he start picking up those items. But it depends if they actually catch out the lone druid. They see the bear, but they don't know where the real No-No is. So he's going to be able to walk out of there. They will actually bring QD in, but is the Spectre Slow going to be enough?
Well, they get the cold snap now, and going to bring him fairly low. He's dropping Fairy Fire, and they do manage to get the kill, but now back on the other side, N is on top of XS, and they're going to TP in the Nature's Prophet as well. Do they manage to find the kill? They tossed End away from him for the moment, and still DDC fairly low, gets the stun off onto 2 with the telekinesis, and they might have overextended a little bit here. Can VR be able to bring this back? They're going to drop down Bobica, but he gets it off the God Strength, or rather the Warcry, and is going to be alive. Suddenly, 3 are dead. They've only killed off the Tiny. They're trying to get back into this, but the Tornado counter initiation is going to be there as well, and it looks like FY might be dropping low. Can they get him there? They're going to be able to find 2 with the balls, but it's not going to quite be enough. End controlled at the end, and it's going to end up being a team wipe.
Oh my god, what in the world happened? That honestly could have backfired incredibly badly for IG, but instead it went in their favor. Like VGR, it was on their side of the map under their T2 tower. They got completely overwhelmed. And IG, like, just look how much gold they got out of that too.
Yeah.
2.3k gold. That is the amount of, that's the kind of gold that you want, especially when you're running all these cores. Excess, unfortunately, is going to give his life away, but after that huge win down bottom, I don't think he really minds at the moment.
Yeah, I think that it was just they wanted to get something right there off of the back of the no kill, and if they would have just let that one slide, everything probably would have ended up being fine. You would have managed to buy out on the Lone Druid for his Radiance recipe, but that still really hurts. And actually, up here at top, DDC is sort of getting into a bit of a tussle with Wrong, and I think he's probably going to end up dying from this one. He steals the casket and doesn't look like he's going to be able to survive the onslaught, so a little bit far forward. And yeah, I think that was, it's still not terrible, but like putting a dent into Chaos Knight's farm, any little bit helps.
Absolutely. Yeah, DDC died because he wanted to get that one Observer Ward in the mid lane, so I think they're going to be using this not just to spot out IG heroes, but probably for the Nature's Prophet to get some of these courier snipes. As it has been a thing lately in Chinese Dota. You see courier, your Nature's Prophet, just TP in for free gold.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice play if you're able to make it work. And also, again, like the relocate ganks, it's pretty important. Speaking of which, Yang is actually going to be pressuring up this bottom lane here, and it looks like they're going to start to try and pressure the tier 2 tower here in the bottom. With End in the area, Phantasm up, they can take this. I don't know if they really want to commit the Phantasm for it, though. They might just send in the Trance and then back out, but you can see that all of IG is actually rotating for a gank. 4 heroes here, and it seems like they know where people are heading. I don't know if they want to take this, though. That last fight was won mainly because the Lone Druid wasn't there at the start and ended up getting picked off.
Oh, are they going to go to the right, though? Do they find End? Oh, they're going the right way, and the Nature's Prophet TP'd out, so he's probably not... Oh, he can TP to the tower, but they found him. Spectre Haunt as well. Now, can they get End out of it? There's no relocate, so that looks like it's going to be the end of him, as well as his Wisp friend. Rest in pieces, CK. Jeez. Successful mission for IG. This game, honestly, is looking pretty good for IG. Even though they're running a draft that you could say is quite greedy, they are sticking into this very well. And now they're going to take Roche, and without the CK Wisp, there's really nothing VG can do to contest this.
Yeah. And again, you saw the Nature's Prophet go for the TP snipe, but it didn't end up working out, and that means it's one more way that they can't really come and contest. And I'm starting to wonder now, like, with the lack of big teamfight ultimates, how do they hold against this? Like, their high ground defense is really not that great. And granted, it's nowhere near being the point where IG are going to be pushing high ground, but with the lead that they're starting to be able to pull back here and Spectre getting bigger and bigger, it does start to cause some trouble. Like, Spectre's top of the net worth right now, and with Yasha already completed on top of drums, this game is going to become a whole heck of a lot harder before it gets easier for VG.R.
Does VG.R consider shifting into an alliance mindset? I say alliance because they're so renowned for their split push. Like, you look at VG.R's draft, it is essentially an alliance draft. They've got a lot of split push potential with the CK Wisp. You have the Nature's Prophet, you have the Lone Druid Bear. There's a lot of opportunities that VG.R could actually capitalize on. And also IG, they don't really have the best heroes when it comes to chasing down these heroes that like to go for the split push. Like, yeah, Spectre can haunt in, but Chidi can only haunt into one hero. The Tiny doesn't really have anything, so he's got no solo kill potential. I suppose you could also count on Ferrari to get some of these kills off, but it depends if VG.R wants to make that play. If they want to shift into more of a split push kind of game, or if they just want to keep on going and hope that they're going to eventually overpower IG with these items that are going to be coming online soon. The Radiance will be coming on very shortly.
Yeah, and you've also got the Nature's Prophet who's going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter. He's only about 600 gold away from picking it up. So yeah, I would agree that that's probably the way that they need to go about this. And again, like, IG's is actually going to be going for another smoke gank, well, at least gank into the mid lane, or bottom lane. They're looking for End again. They've already popped off the Nature's Prophet ultimate. They can go for this one. The Haunt's been committed onto End. The chase there off to the side on FY is trying to TP away, and it does look like they're going to pop the Phantasm, trying to turn this one back around. Witch Doctor ultimate and a quick kill. Man, this is a problem. I would say that with the split push game too, IG's lineup is deceptively bad at clearing creep waves right now. Sven has no points in cleave. Tiny isn't going to be gaining an Agnum Scepter anytime soon, and while he does have like the Ava Toss combo, you really want to be using that for like killing off heroes as opposed to creep waves. So I think that there's an opportunity here, a timing before Sven starts to get items and before Tiny does, where you can go for like the overwhelm strategy.
I also think that the CK shouldn't have popped the Phantasm there.
Yeah.
Like, he could have saved that. He could totally have saved the Phantasm for a potential smoke gank. And look, IG, they're relentless. They're still looking for blood.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on a very, very sad Sven. Unless N TP's in and goes beyond that line. Oh, they're going to go for a smoke instead. 3-man smoke. Was it spotted out by IG? Oh, they found Ferrari, but he's in Ghost Walk. That's going to be a wasted smoke. That's not what VG.R needs.
They needed DDC to be up front and center. He had the dust. He also had the lift. Like, that's how you end up being able to find that. But unfortunately, was not the case. Again, you do have Agnum Scepter that's just been completed on Yang, so the towers are going to start to get pushed down, which is probably one of their best ways to be able to play it from here on out. And I'm curious if IG are going to start putting points into like Sven Cleave and that stuff. Ferrari is still scouting him here, though, and Bobica in the area as well. They're going to initiate onto the lone Druid Bear. They drop the EMP as well. Do they have Haunt? 10 seconds.
Oh, VGR. Is this... I don't know if this is the fight that they want to be making.
No.
Yeah, they're going to back up now. It's too risky to really push into to IG at any point. And they might actually find heroes. They're going to run into DDC, the Rubik. It's just a support kill though, and they're actually going to spot out some more. They're going to go right after FY on the Wisp. CK manages to get out of there, but it's going to be 2 support kills for IG.
Yeah. This is starting to fall off the rails a little bit for VG.R. Again, they were in such a good position, and it just, through these strong team fights, they've been able to make it work. And again, Radiance is up on the Bear, which keeps them back for the moment, but how many times have we seen this, where lone Druids end up picking up the Radiance and then just get overwhelmed in the mid-game? Like, the team fight potential from IG is so substantial that they don't really need to worry about running these somewhat unorthodox supports. They are going to scale well, and they can win team fights now, so why the heck not?
And also IG, they're capitalizing so hard on the fact that because End has died so many times, they're actually going to go for a jump onto the Tiny, but the stun actually landing onto 2 Phantasm as well. They're trying to kill up DDC. Ferrari's here as well. Can they kill the Rubik? 1 hit from Ferrari. That's going to be it. They will lose the Sven as well as the Tiny. And now Cutie's going to come in. Why did he go in there? Cutie!
He's got the Aegis, but... reality onto End. They're trying to do this, and Ferrari is going to be scouted out for the moment. They have the 2-second stun. Root is there as well. This is going to be the turnaround. Yeah, I don't know why the heck Cutie went in on that. And now they're going to lose a tower and maybe more. Like, lone Druid Bear at this stage is going to do so much freaking damage.
IG, what happened? They looked so good a few minutes ago, and then all of a sudden, I think Caster's Curse happened. Oh, IG. And they're going to try and go for more. They want to kill Cutie. They almost got the pull in, but they need the Rift. They need the vision. But Cutie, he's just going to be too fast. And yes, this push is enormous for VG. They've got the Bear. They've got the CK who hits reasonably hard. Like, is IG in a position to fight? There's no Spectre Haunt. There's no Ferrari. They've got Death Ward, but they're all playing so carefully. I guess they don't feel comfortable without Ferrari on the map for setup.
Well, and the other thing now is that you've got Yang, who's like consistently keeping all these creep waves pushed out, so they're actually going to commit the Haunt and manage to kill off the DDC Rubik, but now you don't have Haunt for a freaking while, 110 seconds. Like, look at this. Up top, you're now going to have Nature's Prophet, who can come back in towards the top lane and push in with these Treants. So I will say the Radiance on Spectre helps a lot. That's sort of the saving grace at this stage.
But for how long, though? The Radiance isn't any form of health for Spectre, and especially when there's a Lone Druid and a CK on the map that could potentially relocate on top of you. Like, Spectre definitely needs more HP items on top of this before she's going to be any more comfortable in trying to go for some of these kills onto VG. So I suppose it's not bad for IG. They can sort of take this game slow. They have heroes at scale. Essentially, all they really need to do as a team is just drag it as long as possible so that their heroes really start to amp up in terms of a power spike. Whereas for VG, they would be under pressure. And I think Yang here is dead meat, dead Nature's Prophet, long coconut, and the Sunstriker's Wallet will land, and that's going to be the Nature's Prophet down the drain.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is like, he needs to go into a lane now to try and push it out, and they've got one more hero. Like before, they didn't have, before Spectre got Radiance, they didn't have a way to push out those creep waves effectively outside of like Ferrari doing it, or committing a couple of heroes to a lane to make sure that it goes for a couple of rounds. And now that they've got two heroes that are able to do it, you see that VG, they have to commit more heroes to a lane to pressure it out, unless they use the Spirit Bear. So I think that IG are itemizing correctly. It's really going to come down to execution in this game. I don't think that there's a clear winner as far as the rest of this draft is concerned. As I guess the exception being that QD probably has an easier way to scale into like a ridiculously hard to deal with hero.
End has also finished up a BKB, and with that finished, there's nothing on IG there to really control the Chaos Knight, so End can cause quite a bit of havoc, especially in the next engagements. IG obviously should have spotted this out by now, so they've got to be very careful. Although, they've got a Blink Dagger on Bobica, so all of a sudden you have a Blinking Sven that can possibly get more than 2-man Stormhammers. We have seen it.
Yeah. No, definitely. And the other thing about this too is like they've got all of these heroes that are going to be able to like blink on Sven, blink on Tiny. They've got crazy initiation, which kind of counters out what's been going on with the IO Nature's Prophet. It's sort of the other form of it. But again, you've got Spectre with Manta Style now up. The plus side I would say is that in this Rat Dota game, you know, you've got all of the tier 2s downs for VG.R. If they're able to sort of position themselves correctly, start taking at least one lane of racks in the next engagement, then they're probably going to be able to be in a good position. But it needs to happen before Spec gets another item. If they don't manage to be able to pick up another lane of racks, or at least the first one before that happens, the game gets so much more difficult.
I think for VGR as well, they're probably going to need a couple more aggressive wards just to sort of spot out some of these IG heroes if they're isolated. They really should be making the most of this relocate and Nature's Prophet TP and sort of strategy that they're running. Because if they can take one hero off the map for IG, and especially if it's a core such as catching out Ferrari on the Invoker who's by himself, or I suppose even just going for a little kill onto the Sven, like every little bit counts. And VG, they need to make the most of it, but it looks like instead they're going to try and grab someone in the bottom lane. Although it looks like no one's going to stay because everyone's going up top now. Yeah,
they spotted out this smoke actually with this value ward. I think that they just spot like the very edge of it. It looks like they pinged it out on the map that was going on. So everybody heads back to base for the moment, and that's potentially like game winning having that ward there. Because if they were able to catch the Spectre at that point with like a relocate gank into, you know, the combo, and actually if they can do it right now too, this could be a game-winning play. QD needs to be so freaking careful, and realizing this backs up, pops the Manta Style illusions, and pushes out the creep wave that way.
I think IG are poising themselves to go for a smoke. They've got a smoke on the Witch Doctor, and they're sort of grouping up with the two initiators, so gotta keep an eye on these two. We'll see what they actually are up to. Looks like for now they're just gonna keep on farming, although okay, what is Yang? Okay, just putting a ward down. He wants some courier action. It just leaves as he TPs out.
Frustrating.
Oh.
I'm wondering if he goes for a blink next to make sure he gets better courier snipes. I feel like that could be worth it. But yeah, they're going to bring that into D-Ward. They recognize that this one was up here, so again, IG playing a really good game of Dota 2 right here. They're going to go for the smoke immediately afterwards and see if they can find somebody. QD is going to end up TPing on back to base, has Haunt available, so if they start a fight, Spectre's going to be there. It's the strength of that hero.
And they are looking for heroes, although I'm not too sure if they're going to find any. End as well as FY, they're heading straight back to base, unless End tries to take the shortcut. You all know what happens if you try and take shortcuts. Looks like he's fine. Instead, it looks like a north rotation for IG. And they're going to run into Nodo instead, which is, although not the biggest target, he is still a very nice target. And it looks like the lone drawer is just going to perish. No one nearby, no friends. He'll die alone.
That's really sad. Yeah, they're going to go that Sunstrike up top to try and kill off the Nature's Prophet. They didn't quite catch him, so pretty good there getting out of the the gank. But yeah, it's kind of one of those moments again where the wards right here for IG have been paying off so much. You've got this one that was up here in the top lane, able to scout out that the the Lone Druid was there, and this one mid is actually going to scout out that End is coming to try and give them a little bit of a hello. 3 heroes in the Roche pit with Haunt no longer available. They can defend against this, and it looks like they're going to catch on to Wrong. They're starting to bounce around with the coconuts. XS is there as well. Ferrari 430. Lincoln's popped the first time. Going to be able to relocate away. They don't quite hatch with that one, and
End is dying.
Phantasm, turnaround, maybe? Can they find it? He's gonna end up chasing her after Wrong with those illusions. They crit on him and he ends up going down. And now DDC trying to get the deny to Roshan. Can he get it? He does get it. Rubik, freaking great play there by DDC. And the chase is gonna go after FY. They don't manage to kill him off, but they did get themselves in a position where they can secure Roshan.
End copped, I think, at least half of his HP pool worth of Death Ward damage. That was the only reason he was so low. If the Death Ward didn't go up, then he would have been happy to just really start wailing down on these IG heroes, but because of that, he had to back up. He essentially didn't really get to use his BKB charges to maximum efficiency, which at this point it was a little bit of a waste. They didn't really win that fight either. You give away Roshan as well, as IG knows the BKB is down. And this game it's starting to spiral out of control. I don't even think the split push potential for VG is going to be enough until they can start getting some of these bigger kills. In particular, you want to be getting rid of Ferrari, because he's been setting up a lot of these as well.
Yeah, or at least like find the initiation on him, but you need to be able to kill QD too. Like he's about to pick up his heart, and that's when I really feel like the game gets almost out of reach for VG.R. Like I was talking about, they have to find a kill before they, well, XS there? They're actually breaking his Blink Dagger, and now he gets rooted down.
Oh, no.
Oh, poor Tiny. Tosses the bear away. Get away from me, he says. And they are going to end up relocating here. FY in a little bit of trouble. Mechanism is popped. They've already committed the Tornado, though, and there's going to be the Cold Snap trying to turn this one back around. Out of mana, out of time. No might go down. The bear is going to drop as well. They already committed the Savage Roar, and they end up finding another one. And this is going to be hard.
That is definitely going to be a push now for IG. You take 2 heroes out like that, especially the Lone Druid, who's arguably the best hero for VG to really go for any sort of harassment. Does IG push though? Are they really not going to push? The fight happened mid lane. The tower is incredibly low. I suppose they don't want towers.
I think that they feel pretty comfortable going late game against this drop. I agree that they probably should have or could have ended up going for a push, but there was still like going to be the Phantasm back up on CK and those types of things. Like if you're able to secure that, like right now they've got the next level of items up against VG.R, and you know the Heart of Tarask just finishing now on QD. As long as they keep him alive, I think the game is pretty much over.
Oh, FY, DDC, Ferrari spots out too.
And opting to back out. Maybe playing a little bit too passive. They do pop the dust. And that's a Ghost Walk Stone for Rubik. That's actually a great pickup.
Is there any detection for IG to deal with the Invis? I don't think they do have detection. They have 1 sentry on the Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
So essentially, DDC could potentially just spot out a lot of these IG heroes. He's going to stick around for a little bit. He's not within range of the sentry ward. They're going to glyph it at least. Is VG in a position to go for any defense? They've actually gone up top. They're looking for this Lone Druid. No. This is a big no. He wants to live. He gets a Savage Roar into 2, but this is going to be the end of the bear. There's really nothing VG can do. They're not going to... Oh, look at down bottom. They're going for the split push with the CK as well. They TP'd back Bobica. Oh god, VG. They're starting to get very, very desperate here. They can actually try and man-fight Bobica now. And all of a sudden they lose 2. Lone Druid and the Wisp. Now it's going to be end. Oh, that was a desperation play for VG. They tried to make the most of it and grab a T3, but I suppose the best thing that they really did... Oh, God.
When it rains, it pours. Man, that was just the Haunt damage coming through and then XS spotting the kill potential. IG, they drafted well. They knew what they needed to do. They lasted long enough against the push, and we talked about like the Chen potential as a lax pick. I wonder if, I mean, granted they wouldn't have had a real traditional carry, and they would have had to run something funky like the Nature's Prophet mid and then dual lanes, but against 4 heroes that can scale as well as IG have, I don't know if you can afford to go for something as traditional as an IOCK.
Could have been... I'm just wondering, for VGR. Maybe they could have considered changing out the Rubik for another type of support, a more aggressive support, or maybe even just going back and picking up a Vengeful Spirit to have access to the swap. Like, I
Bottom
feel like,
lane.
yeah.
He's actually
Is that
taking
enough,
tier
though?
3. I mean, it's
Well, he's gonna
questionable.
go-
Do they have
Well,
TPs?
I don't think they do. Ferrari's going to walk back, so it's going to be a while before he's able to really do anything to the Nature's Prophet. Oh, here we go. There's one TP. It's the Sven.
And that's actually going to cleave out all of these trains. Oh, God.
But also, Cutie is by himself with only 3 heroes nearby, so they tried to go for a catch onto one, but the blink out for Tiny saves his life.
Oh, what a play. I literally, my brain didn't process it, what happened there. But really well played there to be able to get him out before the right clicks come in from Sven, and Invoker kills off the Nature's Prophet. That's the thing, is that you want to be able to at least like find something if everybody's TPing away, but it does look like they're going to end up going for a reinitiation here. They've got 4 heroes running away. Cutie is hungry though and wants to grab one of these kills. Oh, God.
Oh, Glimmercape actually saving his life, and the Savage Roar going to send Cutie back too. So everyone on VG, they're going to be able to get out safely for now, but I don't know how safe it's going to be when IG really starts to amp up the aggression.
Well, it's again pushing out these creep waves. I'm like you were talking about, I'm so worried now about their ability to actually end the game, VGR. Like, you would love to be able to try and find those openings to be able to, like, split push, but I'm not sure if it's realistic.
Oh, they found End as well. They're going to even bring in the Spectre, I believe. Spectre's a little bit further down, trying to go for a kill onto No-No, but oh, never mind. CK just TP'd out. Well, I suppose they got the kill on the lone druid, so that's one of the major pushes out of the map for VG. They could have gotten a little bit extra, assuming someone TP'd. It looks like there's a relocate down bottom. They're looking for Bobica. This is just to support Sven. They even brought in the Rubik 2 for this, but mission success. Sven is off the map, and they're going to start pushing and shoving the lane a little bit with Yang, with the Treants.
Yeah,
But once they've relocated back, he's going to TP out.
Well, and this is the part that gets so freaking hard now. You've got Spectre with Boots of Travel already taking a lane of Rax here mid, so you only need one hero really to be able to split push one of these lanes, and it's getting to the point now where I think Sven is probably tanky enough. If he just goes with like the Witch Doctor, he should be fine. Spectre should be fine alone probably, and then like mid is going to push on its own. So how do you really keep these creep waves pushed out? I feel like they might have missed their window. They need to like take a team fight convincingly, but I don't see how they do that without IG misplays.
Well, one thing to note for VGR is they just finished up a Scythe of Ice on the Nature's Prophet, so they may start transitioning him into a more of a aggressively TPing Nature's Prophet to set up for the relocate Wisp, as well as CK. So they could possibly go for kills like that, because at this point, would you agree that the CK is having a little bit of trouble in terms of kiting? Because there's so much on IG in terms of disables, ways of or just killing him off, you know, that works too. Just gonna start chasing him down, and he gets tossed as well. No chance to pop the BKB, and yeah, the 4-second stun came too late, and there's no buyback on him too. Oh jeez.
Like, that just hurts. You could have gone for potentially like a BKB TP, but Tiny was saving his toss regardless, so it wasn't going to end up happening, and then you just waste a BKB charge. The plus side is he's getting towards Manta, only needs about 600 more gold before it happens, but they're going to be pushing in the tier 3s here in a second, and I don't think there's anything that really needs to stop him.
He may regret buying that ultimate orb before he died.
God, mid lane, Yang getting jumped on. They've committed the haunt as well, and he just ends up going down. Now Cutie is going to end up being able to reality back to the tier 3 here, and oh god.
I think VGR, has IG figured out VGR? Is this the day?
I mean, maybe. This is a team, granted, that VGR just ended up 4-0ing IG, and IG come back looking really strong. I was super impressed with this, and the draft recognized what VGR were going to be going for and ended up being able to take it. So, great play. Any final thoughts before we move on to game number 2?
I think VGR might want to start digging up some more kryptonite, because they are in trouble now.
Well, we'll see how they manage to do it. Again, this has been H-Cup presented by BTS. We're in the final day. This is the semifinals right now, lower bracket finals, and next up is going to be grand finals, where the winner of this series faces off against eHome. Stick around, everybody. We got some more action in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.